Okay, so welcome to the daily strategy webinar. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays we've been doing this. I think I've got this streaming into the Facebook group. So if you're watching on Facebook and I miss your comments, sorry about that, but just comment down below. I'll catch them later. I'm the only one here, so it might be hard to moderate. So today, as you know, we do these a few times a week. The replays are always posted at insiderealestate.com/webinars. Today, there was a big release over at thanks.io, which, full disclosure, I'm a co-founder, a partner of. And a lot of you guys have used that through the kvCORE marketplace, thanks.io. It's available in the marketplace. And we actually, there was a big release, a new feature of note cards, which are kind of in an envelope cards. Usually thanks.io is on postcards, letters, things like that. And I sent out an email this morning and quickly got a few replies from kvCORE users who just kind of wanted more of a walkthrough. We get the question a lot, like, how do I tie this up to kvCORE? How would I use this? And I figured, you know, I didn't, why not just jump on today since the feature is new? I know there's a lot of overlap. A lot of you guys are using Thanks. And I would just get a recording down to show these new features and also show you how to tie kvCORE up to direct mail, thanks.io for sending automated direct mail. So that's what I'm going to take a shot at today. Again, I'm going to do my best here. If you're watching on Facebook and you comment, question, how do I type? You get an echo there. I'll do my best to hit your comments if you happen to comment there. Okay. Also, guys, as usual, if you have any questions as I go, you want to slow me down, I am watching the chat on the live Zoom, and feel free to chat in. If you have anything you want to talk about other than the topic at hand, I'll stay on as long as you guys need me to today to talk about that. So let's jump on in to Thanks, and I'll actually go to the homepage and show you the new feature. It is this note cards option right here. So basically, you can put an image on the front of the card. You can use the handwritten fonts to have a style handwritten card sent. It's not actual human handwriting, but it looks pretty darn good. I've received a lot of these. We've worked hard to get the fonts looking like real handwriting. And the note cards actually do, you'll see a stamp here on the screen up at the top right of this envelope. It does have an actual real stamp. It looks pretty good. And I can show you, I posted a picture of a card that we had sent ourselves here, right down here. So you can kind of see it on the screen. There's what the envelope looks like. See how the stamp is kind of human affixed. It's a little off center. All these little things make it feel more real and legit when somebody receives them. And, you know, this is all about, just like when you want to get a click on an ad online, this is all about getting the open, you know, like the open of an email. You're trying to get the thing open and read. You can see here, it feels very personal when it arrives. And that's kind of the effect you're going for. So for real estate purposes, you know, this particular new feature I see as a way to thank people and to build relationships further, thanking new leads, in particular, staying in touch with past clients, you know, maybe thanking somebody for the sale, for working with you, maybe asking for a referral, maybe sending Christmas cards. I've been thinking I'll probably send my family's Christmas cards out using this year as we come into the holiday season. All of these, of course, are great ways to touch your sphere and stay in touch. And there are cool opportunities to link this up to kvCORE, so there's some automation involved. So that's that. The other big feature here is, let's see if I can find this right now, is for those of you who've been using Thanks, is colors. You can now change the ink color. So you can see right here, the ink color, you can do blue, black, green, purple, red. And there's a few other geeky things going on with the system, but those are the two big ones: note cards, ink colors. Pricing, just to anticipate that question, there's a wholesale plan and then a kind of a la carte plan. So pricing is $1.79 if you're on the wholesale and $2.79 if you're on per card. If you're on the a la carte, you're not on our wholesale plan at Thanks. And I think that's pretty competitive, you know, for other similar services. Actually, quite lower than most other similar services. So I'll get the plugging part of this out of the way. I just want to give anybody who is not familiar with Thanks a kind of overview of what it does. It also does postcards and letters, as I've mentioned. And now what we'll do is we'll kind of show this in action, you know, how we would use this. So I was thinking for the demo today, maybe we would do just a simple thank you to somebody who closed with us. And send them a quick message. I was thinking with a picture of the house on the note card. And I thought in the body of the note card, we'll send maybe a couple of phone numbers or like resources that they might want to keep, you know? So, so let's just try this out. I'm kind of making this up as I go. I have Zapier open here in my screen because I'm going to use that to kind of do the automation. But let's start out inside of thanks.io. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to build a message template and an image template. So I'm going to start right here in images. Whoops, I think I'm in the wrong account. How did I do that? It's kind of my crazy demo account here. Give me 1 second. I gotta go into the account where I do my real estate stuff. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go build an image template first. This is kind of the flow of how it works. Maybe I was in the right account. And what I'm gonna do is first design a postcard. Now you can hook this up to, it automatically hooks up to Canva, but like I said, I wanna send a picture of the house. So I'm gonna, design a note card. So it's down here. And I'm gonna just click upload note card. And what I'm gonna do is kind of a hack and a shortcut is we can easily find a picture of a house if it was listed in the MLS or you sold it. So it'd be easy to find it. You can also, if you want to send like, say you're doing this for a FSBO or an expired, you need a picture of the house, you can always go to Street View, which is one of my favorite hacks. So I'm going to go to maps.google.com, type in the address, get this 5-year-old picture of my house for demo purposes. It looks so different now, but you can see here. And what I'll do is I'll click on the Street View. The VW is for sale, by the way. Just kidding. Can't believe we still have this thing. All right, so I'll grab this, and roughly the dimensions are mentioned in thanks that you want it to be. But just think about this. They're going to get this note card with a picture of their house after they close on the house. That's kind of the effect that I'm going for. So I'll just save this demo house picture. Hit save. And then we'll go back into thanks. Demo house. Thank you. Picture. I'm just calling it something. Up here. Demo house picture. Save. Okay, and then I get this warning that it wasn't the exact size, 1800 by 1313. Not really that important. It uploaded anyway. And you can see here, it is there. And for some reason, it uploaded twice. I anticipate we'll have a bug or two with this new feature, but that's not going to hurt that it uploaded twice. Maybe I hit it twice. So there's the image of the card, okay? Next thing I'm going to do is I need to create a message template. So that's the way everything works. Thanks. You have an image and then a message attached with everything. So message, I'll go right here. Click add message. Type note card. Thank you, house. Okay, and then I'll say, hi. Yeah, just wanted to say a quick thank you for working with me on your recent purchase of 123 Main Street. Figured I'd send this follow-up and share a few of my share a few of the common phone numbers that my new home buyer clients ask for. So I'm trying to not only be selfish here or ask for a referral, I'm trying to provide value every step of the way, right? So, and you know, somebody just moved in, they probably want to get work done. My favorite contractor, Joe Schmo. Who else? We'll just do electrician. We'll do it like that. Electrician, carpenter, name, right? And you could go down and give them a few things. Insurance. Well, they probably already have insurance, right? Mover, you know, and go down the line. And you can see here that you can start to get this really kind of cool looking card. And of course, if you ever need me, I'm just a text or phone call away via my phone number. So I think you guys can figure this part out, right? The actual copy is pretty easy. I just was adding that little bit of flavor where you would give a kind of resource list because there's actually a lot of space. You can do the top and the bottom of the card. So I'll show you what that looks like, despite my carpenter typo there. I'll show you kind of what that looks like. See how it starts to render out? You can get a nice, pretty long message, and it'll be on a folded card that comes in the mail. So I'll click Save Message Template. Okay, thank you, purchase of house. And now to send this out, if I just want to send it to one person, all I need to do is just do a send now. Right, I'll choose the note card option, choose my image. It was already there. Continue. I can choose that message template. I could have actually done this all on the fly. I'm just in the habit of building them separately because of the automation aspect of things that I see. I could actually be creating this all in this wizard flow, but because I want to show you in a minute how this looks when you do it via automation triggered from kvCORE. So kind of setting that up. So there it is, kind of sets up. Again, you can change the handwriting right here. If I wanted to change the color, I think we're going to make it so you can change it in line, but I would have needed to change that. It's blue now. You just need to change that in your settings right up here. So that if you want it to be red, it kind of sets the whole default on the account. And soon you'll be able to set it message by message, but it's not a big deal before you send. If you want to go change the color, you can go do that. I think I got one. The reason we did this, I got one that was purple like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, wow, this really, I got it from somebody trying to buy the house, like one of the investor guys, like, hey, I want to buy your house, but it was purple. It was on a cool post. I was like, this is a really nice touch, a different color. So save and continue. You kind of look a little like they really sent it, even though I could tell they didn't. So then the next step, as always, you can drop the pin, you can buy leads. In this example, we're just sending it to one person. So I could just add the one person here, past client, right? Pop in their address. And you kind of get the gist here, and then you can have it out in the mail pretty quickly, right there. Right, submit and send. So that's kind of the one at a time version. Again, you could send if you want to do Christmas cards. You would make your Christmas card, right? You would set a merge tag in the message. You could put their name as a merge tag in. You would do a nice image of yourself or your family or whatever thing you want to do for the Christmas card, or just picture Santa Claus, whatever you're going to do, right? And then you would go and you would just upload your list of recipients from a CSV and send to that whole list. In the previous step here, you saw that was an option. So that's just to give you context. The flow is always the same. It just comes down to kind of who you're sending to here. So that's kind of a manual send. Now let's get to the good stuff, and I'm going to pause a minute. I know I talk fast. Nobody has chatted. Anybody have any questions or feedback? Anything I went too fast on? Who's watching live, or are you guys just watching? Do you have CNN or Fox News on in the background? Because I'm really just not the biggest thing on your mind today. That's understandable too, given what the day is. All right, I'm going to keep going. If somebody could just say, yeah, I'm here, just to let me know I'm not talking to myself, that would also be nice of you, because there's no chat at all for some reason. Great. Wonderful. Thank you, Dennis. I really appreciate this question too. Do you have any plans for adding a gift card such as coffee shop, etc.? Absolutely. That is the very next thing that's being worked on. It'll be more of a, like, we'll use an API where it'll be third party. You'll have a bunch of big gift card names, right? The ones that you would see at CVS or whatever. Like you'll be able to choose from a bunch of different restaurants and everything. And yes, you'll be able to send those. The way it'll work, it'll be like a code that they redeem online. I don't think it'll send the actual code, but we'll have all this tracking in place. And yes, you'll be able to send a gift. Joe, thanks for letting me know you're here too. Thanks, guys. Sometimes, you can do these Zooms and if you don't get interaction, it's really feels weird. All right, so let's keep on going. So that's it. That's that. We are going to be able to do note cards. I would say that's probably a month, 2, 3 out. That's kind of the next big release here. But that's kind of the basics of getting a thanks campaign going. Now I'm going to jump into kvCORE right here and kind of show how you might hook up kvCORE so that it can automatically send an image and a message template, a note card, postcard, or a letter. So you kind of saw the basics. And now if I have, say, a past client in the system, so I'm going to go into this one I created this morning. And if they have an address, your person is going to need an address, right? So if you're driving leads in, say, through seller funnels from Facebook ads and you're populating the address, or, of course, they're a past client and you've added the address because you're working with them. However you get the address in, it's going to need to be in there. And then what you can do, assuming you have that, is you can then create a smart campaign that triggers automatically, right? Based on when somebody hits a specific status or if you manually put them into the smart campaign. So I'm going to go to Marketing Autopilot. Hit Start Campaign. Okay. I'll add a campaign. This is weird. I didn't see any campaigns in there, which maybe it's just something with Zoom slowing that down. And then I'll do oh, there we go. So I'm going to back up. I have a past client campaign in here, so I'm just going to use that. But you would create a new past client campaign or closed. Pretty sure I had one in here. Yeah. There we go. Because I think we did this at some point live. Back here real quick. So whatever your closed campaign is for this example. Okay, yes, it was this. What you can do is you can go in and say, okay, anytime somebody is added to this campaign, I'd like to add an action after a certain number of days that'll trigger a postcard or a note card or a letter. So I'm going to use Zapier, which is an action right here. See this? Zapier. And I'll say the next day, send a thank you note card. We'll send it after 2 minutes, 2 days or 1 day, however many you want to do. Oops. Okay, so that's in there. Now click edit. And you'll see when I created that, I had a Zap ID. This is what I'm going to need to make it talk to Zapier and to then talk to thanks.io. So I'm going to go and copy this Zap ID. And this is getting a little hairy, a little techy, and extra steps and extra software is needed. I'm hopeful that someday maybe there's some kind of direct mail, whether it's Thanks or some other solution with kvCORE. But for now, you can get this done via Thanks or any other similar direct mail services by just using Zapier. So I'm going to copy the Zap ID. Then I'm going to go into a Zap in Zapier. And I'm going to start to build it out. Now, I did a little prep work ahead of time. We have earlier webinars in the webinar replays of these sessions where I go in depth. Probably a month or two ago, we went all the ins and outs of using Zapier. I'm going to assume you kind of have some familiarity if you've been watching these. If not, you can go back and watch those. But for now, here's the broad strokes. I have my trigger app, which is going to be kvCORE. I've got it connected up to Zapier. I'm going to trigger based on campaign action, which means that it's triggered when a campaign action runs for a specific Zap ID, as it shows there. So that part's set up. I'm then going to hook up thanks.io by following the usual Zapier process. It's a quick authentication, right? You search for thanks.io, you hook it up. It's attached. I got my account chosen. And then I'm going to choose the action. Sorry, I'm trying to get to where the action chooser is because there are a bunch of different actions, but I chose customize note card a little while ago. And then what I can do is I can pop in first name, last name, start mapping things up. Sorry, 1 second. I totally skipped over this, guys. I'm really sorry. Back to the trigger section. This is where I need to put that Zap ID in. Totally skip that step. So this is where it goes. In your action, customize campaign, put the Zap ID in. Now I hit continue. Now it should, I did a test. It should send the information over. Now, I haven't fired the actual campaign with real data from a contact yet. So it's just going to give me this test data. So what I'll do right now is I'll just kind of use the test data, and then we're going to go back at the end and test it out. So hit continue. Here's my action events I was looking for. You can see there's a bunch of different actions. You can also add people to a specific campaign and then have them add recipient to a mailing list and then send a series of cards from the thanks side. Here, we're going to directly send that note card. So send note card, continue. Continue. Okay, now I can map the first name, last name, right? This is the information coming over from kvCORE that kvCORE has on file. Full address. So we'll go down here and we'll find the leads. And we'll use leads street. Sorry. We're in a separate street address. Get it right here. There we go. Street. We'll find the city. We'll find the postal code. And then the state. So you can do this all from the dummy data, they call it, you know, the basic data, and then go back and test it. And then my message template, when I click on this, you'll see that it'll have that message template we created ahead of time in Thanks. So that'll be there for me to choose. And then my image template will be there as well. So that's the image that'll go on a note card, then the message template. And then the image URL right here, you'll notice, for those of you who are more advanced, you can actually build this all without ever logging into Thanks. You could have just specified an image URL and written your text in right here. I'll just, you know, if you're a little more advanced and you're comfortable using Thanks already, you could have just done that on the fly. And you can also set your return address and all that right here, or let the system do it. So I'll hit continue. Okay, test and continue. I may get an error if all that data was kind of fake. Huh. Looks like it worked. I'll turn my Zap on. Okay. And then if I look over in Thanks, I'm just curious to see if that took. There it is. You can see right there. It fired it up. Yep. See, that's kind of, you get a PDF. You can see what it looks like right there. And then what I need to make sure is happening now is that it's triggering OK from kvCORE. So I'm going to actually tell it for my testing purposes. Just I want to be sure it's working. I'm going to tell it to run immediately, just for a minute. Anytime somebody is added to this closed campaign to active, right? And now I can go back to that lead and just manually assign them to this campaign. Of course, the campaign would run based on whatever rules you set. You could say, hey, anytime I put somebody in closed status, run this automatically. Or you could have campaigns that are just used for, you know, sending cards. You just turn that off and say send Christmas card or whatever it might be. So I'm going to go into this client and I'm going to go to campaigns and click add campaign. Ryan's closed campaign like this. Hopefully the rules of that closed campaign is manually added. And I hope it fires. Now, this is the part at which I always get a little hung up. This is where it gets a little, you just want to make sure it works. So I refresh the page. Your campaign action to send data to Zapier succeeded. So that was my immediate thing. You see that was in the note timeline. And in theory, if everything's working okay, I'm crossing my fingers, then we should see another order that came through here. And we do. We see a second order just like that. So just like that, totally on automation. Of course, there was a little preparation that you had to do, creating the image and the messaging and tying up Zapier. But just like that, you can start triggering stuff in the mail to people by bridging Thanks.io to kvCORE. So any questions on that, guys? I realize if you haven't done this before, it's a little bit of a foreign flow. For those of you who have hooked up Facebook ads, you know, via Zapier, this is kind of maybe a little basic, but that's, you know, that's the nuts and bolts of it. The reason you want to do this, of course, is it's all about conversions and building relationships, you know? So you're going to do the stuff online. You're going to do digital ads. You're going to do retargeting. Hopefully, you're going to send email marketing follow-up. You're going to be on those channels. And this gives you the ability to add another powerful channel where somebody gets this thing in their hand and they're reading it at their mailbox. They can touch and feel it. They put it in their coffee table. They find it later. If you send something interesting, like a list of names, like the contractor, the electrician, you know, a couple of other professionals, maybe friends of yours you want to recommend, then maybe they put it on the fridge, right? And they got a nice picture of their house. So be intentional and thoughtful about what you're sending. Maybe it's something they put on their fridge because it's like a resource that they can access later. And then that, you know, then it's sitting there. Then whenever they're entertaining, everybody else sees it. They read it. They're nosy. You know, they see the realtor. It's a conversation piece and so on. So yeah, definitely put something physical in the hands. I see the conversation, Cindy. Yeah, I just went through the integration with kvCORE, so we're just a little bit back in delay on the Facebook group versus the live stream. So All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching that demo. I'm not seeing any questions, which is fine. If you watch this in replay in the Facebook group, just chat below and I'll eventually get to you. You can go check out thanks. You can send $10 in cards free. There is a link I think I'll put in the description below the video and in the Facebook group that you can go and you can get $10 in free cards if you don't already have an account and start kicking the tires. Here's another example I sent, by the way, a couple weeks ago. For the seller stuff that I was doing, we were doing seller leads. It's in the replays. You know, Facebook ad generates a seller lead and triggering a card out in the mail. And I forgot that I left this on. And I got one of them must have had a bad address, and it got bounced back to me. And I was like, "Wow, what is this?" And I tricked myself. I was like, "I'm getting mail from Forever Florida," and it was something I had done. So it's just really, the point I'm making is really interesting when you get direct mail. It's just a totally different. It just hits you in a different modality. It's physical. You're touching it. You're reading it right in front of you. And it disoriented me a little. I was like, "Oh, that was really cool of me." I sent myself a postcard. Here's another common use then. If you're getting seller leads, as an example, you could do something like this in the mail. Okay. All right, guys. So, hey, Brett. So what we'll do, feel free to ask any questions in the Facebook group. If you need any help with any of this, the team at thanks.io is very familiar, you know, with kvCORE. If you hit any roadblocks, just feel free to ask support over there. I don't bug the support team at kvCORE. They're not going to be able to do this integration that I showed you today. But if you hit any roadblocks or need inspiration for, you know, what to do, just chat up the support team on the thanks side of things. When you're in the dashboard, there's a little chat bubble and they can get you going. But there's so many different real estate uses of this. I'll drop a real estate webinar we did about real estate and direct mail. I'll put that with the replay as well to give you guys more inspiration. And I really think these note cards are kind of a fun thing if you want to try them out at all. All right. So anything else I can help you guys with today before we leave? Any other topics, anything you're doing with kvCORE that I can be of assistance with? That's what this time is for. I can hang out for a while longer, or if I don't get any comments with the live crew here watching, we'll just go and be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. East. Going once, going twice. Thanks for the cool card. Dennis, what's your address? I'll send you one. If you want to drop it in the chat. In fact, if you're watching, tell you what, yeah, if you're watching on Facebook, drop you, and you're comfortable with people seeing your address. I don't know how much of a danger that is. Drop it. Thanks, Dennis. I'll shoot you a card. Drop the card. I'll send you a card as a sample. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. East here at the Inside Real Estate Strategy Sessions. Bye-bye.